Warm welcome, this is Markus Termin, Astrologisches Stundenbuch at the 28th of July 2024. The moon is in the sign of Taurus and the sun is in the sign of Leo. That's the last square position towards the new moon that will occur early August in a few days in the sign of Leo. Mercury shifted to the sign of Virgo, and he's very slow though, because he's going into his retrograde loop at the 5th of August. This is not now, but some astrologers speak of the shadow of Virgo, Mercury being close to retrogradness already. This means he's being slow. Now, Neptune and Saturn recently turned retrograde, and they are not at full speed yet, but they are getting a little faster than, of course, at the beginning of the retrogradness. But Mercury is decelerating and is getting slow, and slow means anything is a little bit retarded. That's the situation, and the square position of the moon towards the sun is not exactly comfortable, but is also not a big problem. This is the basic take of today, of this little very short astrological view on the day. But I want to have a view on another chart which is most interesting. You might have noticed some of the provocative happenings around the Olympics, and this is the most important chart for it because this is Leonardo da Vinci's chart. We are back in the time of the Renaissance. We don't even have the Baroque yet. That's deep down in the 15th century, and Leonardo da Vinci, the Renaissance is actually the birth time of Europe. You could put it that way, because what happened afterwards, 30 years of war, and then the Baroque came in, that's the starting of the time of mechanics and simulation and techniques and alchemy and chemistry and things like that come to the foreground. But the Renaissance is really it was only introduced by around 2,000 persons in Europe. 2,000 highly evolved, cultural, educated person established the Renaissance in Europe, mainly in Italy. And this is the chart of Leonardo da Vinci. What is interesting about that, to look at that today, because they did a persiflage on his Last Supper at the Olympics, and a complete turnaround in my vision. And that's an important picture for Christianity. I must confess, I do love the Renaissance. I love the aesthetics. The Renaissance, interesting enough, is still the time when men used to wear skirts. We didn't have no pants, no trousers yet. But there wouldn't have been an idea of gender exchange, with just one exception, which was the hermaphrodites, mixed sexes that are born once upon a while, even in the Roman Empire, that were mainly celebrated as exceptional people that were put in the center of not exactly in the center, but they were worshipped in some way, and there was no problem with that. Actually, it was a divine message, but with the exception of some early Christian cults that tried to do a castration on men, which then was delivered in the Vatican until the 19th century. They did castrations up to the 19th century. That's an interesting thing. And also, if we look the trying of a mixture of the so-called Dionysus cult with the Last Supper, the Dionysus cult is a castration cult too. We shouldn't forget about that. We know some facts about the Dionysus cult. You might get storybook if you look at the Villa of Mysteries in Pompeii, where it's pretty obviously showed what was behind the Dionysus cult, or at least we get some hints. But coming back to the chart of Leonardo da Vinci and comparing it to what's his actual presence today, what does it mean that he's being put on in the focus of our attention? He's a Taurus sun. He was a Taurus sun, and he has a square position to Pluto in Leo. This is similar to our day constellation with Sun in Leo and Moon in Taurus. There's a Taurus Leo thing in his chart. We could translate it that way. But for the happenings, most important is the opposition of the running Neptune. See it down here, still in Pisces, and Leonardo da Vinci's Neptune right on the edge in between Virgo and Libra. This is an opposition of 181 degree or something like that. Though Leonardo da Vinci's Neptune is in the sign of Libra, he's retrograde and has the tendency to go back to the sign of Virgo. So we can talk about an opposition. And there's another opposition which is interesting, though it's not absolutely exact. That's the opposition of Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, where it used to be when we had the French Revolution, and Pluto in the sign of Leo. Leonardo da Vinci is a Leo Pluto. That's the second opposition, so something opposing to the idea of humanistic opening up of Leonardo da Vinci was to be put out on the people on these Olympics. That's, in my sense, that's just as bad as burning down the Notre Dame. It's even worse. And this is one of the happenings in the Olympics, and it's obviously against the Central European idea of the Renaissance, that people have forgotten about that. I mean, imagine in between our present days and the Renaissance, what do we have? We have a lot of wars. We had the uprising of science, and parallel to that, a lot of people don't know that, we had the Inquisition. The Inquisition happened at the same time and being controlled by the same people as the uprising of science. We must keep that in mind. This is very important. And now coming back to the Last Supper and the misuse of this picture in a most perverted way. You just can't imagine that. This is clearly an offense, and it's being shown by the opposition from Neptune to Neptune. Even imagine that guy in the foreground, the Dionysos figure painted in blue. It's all about Neptune. It's obviously okay. That's just one view on that. I don't want to go deeper into it. Do with it whatever you want, but it's most interesting to have a mirror of what is coming out in times and what they rely upon, what's on the stake. It's really the identity of the European soul from a period of time that was very, very rich in cultural activities and being newborn from that. Do with that whatever you want. This is Markus Termin, Astrologisches Stundenbuch, at the 28th of July 2024. If you want to get in contact with me, just use this mail address up there. Down here at my blog site, you'll find the conditions for a consultation. Markus Termin. See you tomorrow. Take this big